Transition Radio TV brought to you by thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your transgender or cross-dressing needs. Visit their website at www.breastformstore.com and tell them Transition Radio sent you.
The following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Transition Radio TV. This is episode number 11. And not only is it episode number 11, we have a very special guest, Ryan Cassata. Ryan Cassat is a transgender singer, songwriter, and motivational speaker from Long Island, New York, who all by the age of 18 successfully cut 3 records, booked and went on multiple tours, played several of the world's biggest gay music festivals, won the Harvey Milk Memorial Award.
He became the youngest keynote speaker for the largest transgender conference in the world and appeared on national and international TV on several occasions. But we won't spoil it for you. Here is a video that says it all.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to be the youngest keynote speaker at this conference. I hope you're enjoying the conference so far. My name is Ryan Cassat. I'm an 18-year-old transgender singer-songwriter and activist from New York. I've been living my life as transgender, and I've been as transgender since 14 years old. And boy, have I learned a lot about this community. I felt both accepted and rejected within this very tiny group. I'd like to share a story. I'm big on social media, and I'm very active on the blogging site Tumblr. A few weeks ago, I publicly shared my feelings on how hurt I was by the amount of female-to-male transgender individuals ridiculing me and harassing me based on my decision to not go on testosterone. One transgender man replied, "You have a hard time relating to other trans men because you are not on testosterone. And because you are not on testosterone, you still think like a girl. It gets worse." He goes on to say, "Your brain literally starts to think more like a man and less like a female, more real and less sensitive." I was baffled by this statement. How could someone who once identified as female make such a sexist comment? Over the years, I've noticed an extreme amount of sexism within our society. I've noticed that I am treated with more respect since transitioning to male. Not only have I realized an extreme amount of sexism within our society, but I've noticed an even more prevalent amount within the transgender community itself. Here's my theory for trans men. To pass as male, we often distance ourselves from the characteristics of the gender in which we have transitioned from. We often feed into stereotypes to be seen more male and less female. These stereotypes come from decades of oppression towards women. These stereotypes are what we base our methods of passing on. I've noticed that some trans men feel the need to overcompensate for being born female by acting overly aggressive and more masculine. Some members of our community even feel that their masculinity is based on who can medically transition the fastest. Transitioning has become a race. Members of the transgender community work so hard to appear as their desired genders. Through this, I've learned that passing is only based on opinions that stem from oppression and stereotypes. What one considers to be passing as male may be a completely different thing to another person. For example, I could be wearing the same exact outfit, talk and walk the same exact way, and be called sir by one person and ma'am by another. I will never know what made me not pass to that one person, because everyone's opinion on what is male and what is female are different. Due to this revelation, I've been focusing less on passing and more on what feels comfortable to me. I know who I am. I have to be who I am. For me, going on testosterone won't make me more of a boy than I am now. I'm always going to feel male. The clothes I wear, the length of my hair, how feminine I may be, cannot make me less of a boy than any other boy. As a community, we need to better recognize and accept our differences. We need to recognize that we all have different stories to tell. We need to hear each other's stories. We need to hear each other's experiences. We need to take them in and learn from them. For I could only tell a story of a white 18-year-old post-op transgender man from New York that does not have any experience of being on hormones. My job as a member of the transgender community is to make room for all of the other people that have a different story than me. I promise to listen to these stories and learn from them. Because even though I can relate to the life of someone who is transgender, I cannot fully relate or understand the life of someone who is transgender and is on hormones. The life of someone who is transgender and is a person of color. The life of someone who is transgender and is a woman. The life of someone who is transgender and is Christian. The life of someone who is transgender and lacks privilege in certain areas. Because I will always be a transgender man with privilege. The duty of myself and the rest of the transgender community is to become allies to one another. We are already an extremely small group of people. And within this tiny group, each one of us is very different. We need to understand and accept this difference. We need to understand that there is not one way to transition, but many. Transition looks different for all of us. There is no wrong or right way to transition. We need to understand that medically transitioning is a privilege, and some trans individuals may not have this privilege. We cannot judge them based on this. We must support them and accept them within our community. We need to also understand that medically transitioning is a choice, and some trans individuals may not choose to go down this road. That does not make them any less trans than anybody else. We need to stop distancing ourselves from one another and come together. We need to be one. Yes, we are all so different. We all come from different classes. We all come from different ethnicities, different racial backgrounds, different parts of the country. But when it comes down to it, we all share that same feeling of being born in a body that does not make sense to us. And because of this one small trait, we are a unity, a community, and we must recognize this, and we must come together. We need to look out for one another. We need to have each other's backs. We must stop hating on each other and begin to love every member in this community. We need to make space for each other. We need to become allies to one another. We need to remember that we are a community. We need to also remember that we are a minority. We need to remember that all of us are being oppressed, some more than others, but we cannot let the different amounts of oppression box us off and segregate us. We must join together now. And remember that no matter how different we all are, we need to always remember that we are and will always be a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and a family.
You better preach. You better preach, boy.
Thank you so much.
That's right.
And now welcome to our show, the amazingly talented and inspirational Mr. Ryan Cassata. Hey, Ryan.
Thanks. Hey.
That was a totally amazing speech. I got goosebumps the first time I heard that, and I bow my hat to you because you are an amazing person, and you know, I couldn't have said it better myself. You said it all. It was just.
I don't think anybody could have said it better themselves. Great job, Ryan.
Thanks.
So, how is it up in California?
It's great. It's beautiful weather right now. It's a little cold, but it's sunny.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What does being trans mean to you?
Being trans, I feel like, is just one small aspect of my life that has affected it in positive and negative ways. And it's just something that makes me who I am, but not completely, you know, because I have music and all other different stuff that I'm interested in and that I like.
Excellent. What are some of the negative and positive things that you've experienced?
Well,
Sure.
the negatives, I think, of course, the way people treat me and having to be afraid to use the bathroom and those sort of things. Of course, I'm not treated equally to a lot of people in society. And I think the positives are that I am able to educate so many people because I am transgender, so it opens a big door for me to educate other people in a positive way.
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah. And we totally believe it's a gift, and the truthness of being transgender is being two-spirited. It's like we try to go from one box to end up in another box, and I think those of us that are in touch with both our male and female side is what truth transgender is, to me, my definition. And I didn't think that way in the beginning, because I think it's an evolution. We start off wanting this thing so badly to be in this other box, and then when you evolve and you grow, you realize, wow, everything that I am is already in me.
Yeah.
And that's totally the way I think. Well, you are an inspiration to many trans guys and a good role model. What do you recommend for those who are starting out on their journey?
I recommend that everyone goes at their own pace and does not fall into peer pressure from their parents or from other trans people or from people at school. I think it's important to just transition at your own pace and think everything through. I think, you know, a lot of parents are like, oh, you have to go a little bit slower. And if you want to go faster, then go faster. You know, you have to really go your own pace so that you could be the most comfortable that you could be. And I think a lot of trans guys on YouTube are sometimes pressuring younger trans guys to go on hormones right away or get whatever surgeries. And I think people really need to figure out things for themselves and really look within themselves to see what their route of transitioning should be.
And they don't realize that it's playing Russian roulette because hormones are dangerous and they're not for everyone. And they really
Yeah.
need to do their homework and they, like I said, take it slow. It's not a race, as you mentioned in your speech.
Hmm.
And there's no competition. You know, being trans could be one thing to one person and could be something else to somebody else. And that's okay. And
Yeah.
like you mentioned in your video, we just need to learn to be one, to unite, so that we have that respect from society. If we don't respect one another, how can we expect society to respect us?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Well, I gotta say too that hormones actually, the negatives in the hormones are the fact that we are probably shortening our lifespan. You know, by a good percentage. So smart decision to wait and take things slowly and do things, according to the way that you need to do them.
Exactly.
I admire that a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you have to think of your health. You have to think of it's not something that you should do just because everybody else is doing it, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, one thing my mom always used to say: if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? And I'm like, yeah. No. So, what are your most favorite things to do, Ryan?
I definitely like writing songs, and I definitely get a good kick out of it. And I love hanging out with my girlfriend, of course, and going outside, hanging out with my friends. I have a really positive group of friends, so every time we hang out, I feel like it's very uplifting. So those types of things. I also like to read a lot, play Scrabble, make YouTube videos, that sort of thing.
Actually, I saw your YouTube video that I liked a lot, which was "I'm Not Trans Enough." I thought that was awesome, absolutely awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, very creative, and I think that's one of the things that most transgender people don't realize, the creativity that they have. So instead of focusing so much from getting from point A to point B, the focus should be on finding who they are inside and the gifts that they have been given. Because I've noticed that I would like to say 95, if not more, percentage of the trans community has some sort of gift. They either write music, they draw, they act, they do something, and they have such talents. And instead of turning into that self-hatred because they don't fit in what society wants us to be, they should look inside and try to bring those gifts out and shine, just like what you've done, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's good to always focus more on the positive.
Exactly. Yeah. Life is
Couldn't
already.
agree more.
Yeah. Your music is amazing and your voice a gift. Tell us a little bit about your techniques in writing and making music.
Yeah, writing music is something that just comes naturally to me. I feel like, I could just be doing anything and all of a sudden I'll feel like I have to write a song. So it's just like, it's not something that I could like force out. It's something that just like basically comes along and I'm like, oh my God, I have to write a song right now. And then I'm able to. And all of my lyrics are from life experiences of me, and some are about my friends and my family, my girlfriend, and that sort of thing. So everything's based on the truth.
That's awesome. When you write, do you feel that something, it's almost like it's not coming from you, but it's coming from something higher, like the words just kind of like pop in your head and you're like, that type of thing?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes I don't even know what the lyrics mean until after I write the song and then I analyze them. So it's a little, it's a little weird, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's like divine intervention, It's our higher self. I believe that this is a third dimension, and in other dimensions, we have other parts of us elsewhere. And sometimes I believe like an avatar is kind of like transmitting messages.
You watch too much television.
No, I don't.
I'm kidding. Well, here is one of Ryan's music videos, Hands of Hate. Let's take a look at that one.
Students marched in Oxnard, California in memory of Lawrence Larry King, 15-year-old student police say was gunned down by a classmate because he was openly gay.
Oh, Mrs. Shepherd, I heard about your son. He was filled with glory until hate's begun, and
He jumped off the George Washington Bridge right into the Hudson River.
Well, our friend Tyler was forced off of a bridge after his roommates filmed an out in him making love to another the same sex as him. And the only sin that God saw, the roommates killing him.
Yes, he committed suicide. He jumped off the GW Bridge into the Hudson River last Wednesday. Police have found his car at the top of the bridge, his wallet.
And poor old Jamie always smiled and thrived. But as the slurs went on, he couldn't stay alive. And he took his own life on a cold September night. And the bullies admitted that they wanted him to die. And we joined together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and learn how to wait? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race? Did you think about how his mama would cry when she was forced with goodbye? Well, did you think about his papa when he died? How will they survive? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and learn how to wait? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race? Oh, Mrs. Shepherd, I heard about your son. He was filled with glory until hate's gone, and he cried at that fence like a scarecrow afraid as those boys beat him dry with the hands of hate.
Every single American, gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, every single American deserves to be treated equally in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of our society. It's a pretty simple proposition.
Wow. Amazing video.
Very
amazing song.
What basically, I know what inspired you. It's going to sound like a blunt question here. I know what it was inspired by, but what inspired you to do this song?
I wrote this song a couple days after Jamie Rodemeyer's death. He was from upstate New York, and it really affected me in a really bad way. So I wrote this song. It came out, and I looked up a lot of stories of other people that were killed because of ignorance or committed suicide, and I just threw it all into one song. And then I made the music video months after I wrote the song, and I just realized that I should include as many people as I possibly can so that they could be remembered.
Yeah, it's I've actually known several people that have actually killed themselves that are trans, and that it hits home because no one should ever have to take their own lives because they feel they don't belong. And as we mentioned earlier, I believe that even in our own community we create this kind of situation, and it's really sad because we're all one. All made up of the same thing, from a tree to an ant. We are all one, and we need to realize that, and that's the only way we're going to be able to heal from this craziness, from these wars, from this hatred in the entire planet. And not just about trans or LGBT issues, it's just a world issue. We all just need to unite and realize we are brothers and sisters, and we all bleed the same, and we all put one leg at a time, and we're all dug in the same hole And it's crazy. It's just totally crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you, do you believe, basing on what Mark just said, do you believe we are making headway on education regarding trans issues, and why?
I think that we are online more than we are in schools. I think that schools need to start teaching trans issues and from an earlier age. I know a lot of colleges briefly touch upon it, but middle schools should start talking about it, and so should high schools. And sometimes when I go to speak at high schools, they've never met a trans person before or even heard of it. And before I realized that I was trans, I had never heard of it before. So I was like sheltered in my own way, and I think a lot of young people are. And I think the more young people that know about trans issues and know how to treat trans people that with respect, then the quicker equality is going to come. So I think education in schools is definitely an important factor there. And hopefully, it will start to progress a little bit more.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, they're focusing a lot on the medical field, on, colleges and stuff like that. But you brought up a very valid point that people should start doing sensitivity training in high schools and middle schools. I think that's a great idea.
And even younger. I mean, look at all the young trans individuals that are identifying from the age of 4. And some have supportive parents, but some parents just like break their sons or daughters' spirit by forcing them to be something they're not, or not allowing them to self-express. And it's about self-expression, because I think the word transgender, it's something that we just created, and it's a word, and I think it's something that's been around. People have been two-spirited and in touch with both their sides, and it's okay for a child to be able to express whether they feel feminine or whether they feel masculine. And I think parents need to be educated. I think the school system needs to be educated. The whole organizations that we have need to be educated.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important.
Exactly.
You have a very supportive mother. Tell us how she has been one of your biggest heroes.
Yeah. My mom, she took about a year to come around. And then as soon as she just got it, she started to be way more supportive, and she started calling me Ryan and male pronouns. And then she worked on getting other members of my family and extended family to start calling me by the right name and pronouns. And every time I had a problem in school, she was there to, fight for me and get, everything to be right again. And I had a lot of bullying issues at school and a lot of problems with the staff at my school. My mom was always there to handle that. And she got my name changed for me and convinced my dad to let me get top surgery. So she's been really supportive, and my dad is really supportive now too. So my whole family is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we watched a little bit of a video that you did, and I'm pretty sure it's recent, where you were post Larry King and your mom and you were having like a little interview with each other, and she was like, really had done a totally 360, which I thought that was great. And I think eventually all parents do come around, some faster than others, but it's inspirational to hear stories like that, that once, parents was so against it and all of a sudden they changed. And I think that worries a lot of transgender individuals, that family are not going to accept them.
Well, I think a lot of the reason, and I want your opinion on this too, Ryan, that a lot of the reason that parents don't want to support it is because A, they don't want to believe that this is possible, B, that they are in fear that something's going to happen to you physically, and C, they're afraid that you're not going to have a so-called normal life growing up into adulthood. I think those are the 3 biggest concerns that keep family from kind of accepting this situation.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it took me a really long time to realize that a lot of the reason my parents weren't so supportive when I was younger was because they were just simply afraid of what was going to happen to me at school, and if I was going to be bullied, and what was going to happen to me when I went out. Like, my mom wouldn't let me ride the train until I was 16. So, they were just afraid. Exactly.
So I think that fear, that they have is more of a debilitating, I guess you could say, debilitating means of acceptance, and what kind of prevents that.
And how was your mastectomy? How old were you when you got it, and how was that experience for you?
Yeah, I got top surgery a year ago. I'm just gonna call it top surgery, so people that are tuning in get it. So because I've been calling it top surgery forever, so people might not understand. So yeah, I got it when I was 18. I like turned 18, and like 3 weeks later, I was able to get it. I had to book my surgery date like a year in advance almost. And it went really well for me. It took not that much time in the actual operating room. It took less time than they thought it would take, and my results are really great. So I'm really still really happy about it, and I don't think I'll need a revision or anything.
That's awesome. And who did your surgery?
What?
Who did your surgery?
Oh, Dr. Brownstein.
Dr. Brownstein. Yeah, he's
San Francisco. Yeah, he just retired.
Yeah, I read somewhere the other day that he retired. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good for the trans community.
No, but he's training someone, so it should be good.
I was going to say, hopefully he has a protege.
Yes, because that's important.
Yes, definitely. So, you have found the love of your life. What are the characteristics about her that made you fall in love with her?
Alexis is really open-minded, which is a big plus, and she's very loving and supportive of everything I do, and she's just, you know, a great person all around, and we laugh a lot, and we're always happy, so it's a great relationship, and I'm really happy that I'm in it, and we've been together for a year and a half now, so it's going pretty well.
Where did you guys meet?
We met at a summer music camp in San Francisco, which is how I ended up here.
Which is a good thing. I mean,
yeah.
I believe in fate, and thing happens for a reason. So, So what kind of music? I mean, does she play an instrument? You guys do anything together, or?
Yeah, Alexis is a singer. She's really talented. We did a cover of somebody I used to know, Gautier, on YouTube, so you can check that out if you want. And Alexis has a lot of videos up on her YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, I saw that video actually, the cover you did with her. I thought it was good.
Thanks.
It's actually, I like that song too. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. That's good. So here's Daydream, one of your latest songs, and I put together with some of your photos, and it's one of your latest songs, an EP, correct? That's what you had mentioned earlier. Okay. So as soon as Joe rolls,
Love the way you look when you first wake up, when the sun hits your face before your makeup. And last night couldn't have been better. We danced beneath the sheets. Your lips were sweet. We're living in our daydream. Spread your wings and fly. The universe is yours, for you are the queen of everything. For beauty makes the rules. Serenade me softly. Sing me to sleep in our beautiful touch. You're captivating me as we dance beneath the rain. You're everything I breathe. Oh, swing, swing, swing. Let the rhythm take your heart. We'll dance into the heavens and soar around the sun. There you are up high. Glory in the sky. Stars will twinkle for you. My angel, my lips are yours forevermore. Oh, kiss me, sweet love. My heart for you and everything you do. You're beautiful, beautiful.
Great song.
Excellent.
I gather you wrote that for your girl.
Yeah, I wrote the whole album for her.
Oh, that's so sweet. Let me ask you a question. What inspired you to start writing music? I mean, when did how old were you, first off? How old were you when you started writing music, and what gave you the inspiration to do so?
Yeah, I started to play guitar when I was like 6 or 7, and then I started writing songs when I was about 12. And none of them were really that good. The first song that I wrote that I actually liked was Wonderful Beautiful, and I think I wrote that when I was like 13. And that's on my first EP, Distraction.
Is there anybody in your family that is musical that you've got the gift from, or is it just you were blessed because you were blessed?
I'm not sure. My older brother can sing really well, and my little brother plays drums and the piano, so we all turned out to be pretty musical, but like both of my parents don't really play or anything, so.
Okay. So it's probably like a great-great-grandparent or something where the gene comes from. Somewhere down the family tree.
Yes.
So what is your goal in life, and what would you like to see change in our world?
Yeah, I've made it my mission to keep fighting for transgender equality and educating in schools by doing talks and writing songs about transgender equality and LGBT equality in general. So I've made it my mission to do that until there is equality, and I know that will be my entire life, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm here and I'm dedicating my whole life to fighting for equality for the transgender community.
What are your belief system? Are you spiritual? Are you, if you don't mind asking?
Yeah, I don't really like follow any religions or anything. I believe in fate, and that's pretty much it. So I try to like believe that everything happens for a reason, and I feel like I get way less disappointed that way.
That is true.
With no expectations.
Yeah.
So you don't believe in coincidences?
I mean, some stuff has to be, but I don't know.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
So now I lost my trend.
I think like everything has some positivity in it.
Oh, definitely, and everything's a lesson. I believe that before we came down here to this earthly plane as spirits having a human experience, we almost created our challenges before we got here to see if we could do them, to grow from them. And I don't believe in the heaven and hell thing and all that stuff. I just think that we are all creator gods, and we're just playing this game called life. And some of us take the game called life way too serious and forget that the number one message of all this is to love, and to love unconditionally. And I think
Most
the day society, humanity realizes this is the day we will heal and we would stop the war and the hatred and the separations and the labels that, you're this, you're that, and we're going to put you in this box and we're going to put you in that box. And when we break down all those labels and we realize, hey, we're all one, we're all the same, then we'll find peace and unconditional love.
Yeah, and a lot of questions in the chat room, by the way.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and actually, Ryan has been looking at some of them there, and he's going to answer some of them.
Go for it.
Yeah, which one should I answer?
We'll read them out loud so that those that are on the chat.
Whatever you want.
Okay. The first question is, when did his mom get his name legally changed? I think I was 15 when I got my name changed. And the reason that I got it changed so young was because my school, started this new system where we had to scan in our ID cards after we got off the bus and walked into the school. And then my birth name would show up on this gigantic screen, and all the other kids would see it, and I would be embarrassed. So I started going late to school because I didn't want my birth name broadcasted to my entire high school. And I told my mom this, and she was like, okay, we have to get your name changed. And that's how it all happened.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
My favorite song that I've ever written or recorded, I think Love Around the World. I mean, I recorded it twice because I had so much fun with it, and it's always my favorite song to play live because it pumps me up, and I feel like it's my anthem, and everything I believe is in that song. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a bunch of questions here.
Just pick a couple more because we do have some announcements to make at the end.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot about my brothers. My brothers both reacted in a really positive way when I told them. My older brother was the first person I ever told, and he was supportive right from the start. Yeah. So my brothers, they're great.
Go ahead, keep.
I don't know. Are there any more that I'm missing?
I think you have them all, actually.
Yeah.
You got them all.
Awesome.
That's great. So, what's next for Ryan? Are you touring? Are you doing anything for the this coming year?
Yeah, hopefully in April I will go out on tour because the National Day of Silence. So if anyone wants me to come speak at their school, you should email my manager. I'm trying to come to Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, and places in that area. I think I'll definitely be coming to New Jersey. And also I've been writing a book. Because I was filmed for this documentary, and they were like, oh, it might be really cool if there's a book to go along with it. So I spent my winter break writing a short book, and it's almost 40,000 words. So I'm getting excited about it and starting to turn into something that could be a real possibility. So
that's great.
Yeah. And of course, I'm going to keep going on with the acoustic albums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So give the viewers your website where they could contact you if they...
Oh, should I type it or should I just say it?
You could type it in the chat room.
You can type it and say it as well.
Okay.
My website
is ryancassata.com, and my Facebook is facebook.com/ryancassata, and I'll type that in case anyone needs the spelling.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, it's been
and you are a very talented writer, by the way. So I look forward to seeing your book when it comes out. So please let me know when it's available.
Definitely.
Of course.
You got a lot of heart and very inspirational. And as young as you are, I mean, most people your age are shooting pool somewhere doing something, nothing that will help change the world. And I see great and big things happening for you. And I see with what you're doing, you're going to help change a lot of the mentality in the trans community and in the world in general.
And I think you're a big inspiration to not only trans men, but also to trans women as well. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today, and it's been a pleasure interviewing you again. You were on the radio show first time, and
yeah,
now,
thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks to everyone that's watching and
yes,
and everything.
Definitely.
Ryan Cassata rocks.
Totally rocks. Well, we have this article from Victoria Michaels, who's an editorial columnist and investigative reporter from South Florida Gay News, and she also writes for The Advocate. And we were asked to mention it on our show because it's important that the community knows about this.
As it targets the trans community.
Yes. If you think it's safe to answer a call on your mobile phone by glancing at your caller ID, think again. It's caller ID spoofing. And while it's legal in some situations, a recent number of criminal cases have security experts questioning if the law should be changed.
Spoof card and trace bust are two of the more prominent caller ID spoofing services available. For a fee, users can camouflage their caller ID to be any number they want. Users can also mask or change their voice to be either a masculine or feminine caller of any age, which will fool anyone. It's important to note that it is only legal as long as it's not being used with the intent to defraud or cause harm. Spoof card or trace bust promote themselves as a fun and legal way to pull a phone prank on someone. But a few local Broward County transsexuals would disagree as they recently became victims of a spoofer scam seeking to extort them for cash.
The transgender victims offer to come forward with the details of their allegation under the condition of anonymity and by agreement to only be referred to by their first names. The scammer, who identified himself as male, began calling T.S. Angel in early January and demanded that she Western Union him $150 immediately, or he threatened to make her life a living hell. Because of the scammer utilizing this spoofing technology, he claims that the incoming calls are untraceable and hails that he will never be caught.
After Angel refused to wire him the cash, the scammer placed her phone number into a computer auto-dial prankster web program in which her mobile phone began to ring nonstop every 30 seconds for over a week. The calls display themselves on caller ID as all different area codes from across North America, and there is nothing that can be done to stop it. Or is there? My life has been turned completely upside down since this started last week, and I will stop at nothing until this person is caught and prosecuted for this illegal activity, said T.S. Angel, who concluded over 4,000 phone calls have been recorded streaming into my cell phone by a monitoring service that I was forced to purchase to protect myself from this tyrant.
This spoof story has repeated itself time and time again, as 3 other victims in South Florida have come forward to report the same exact extortion scam coming into their mobile phones. It's reported by all transgender victims that the scammer calls the T-girls and claims that he is collecting a debt for an unsatisfied admirer. He orders the T-girls to pay the debt via Western Union, or he threatens to force the girls to change their phone numbers that he claims he knows is of value to them.
Other victims of this scam are T.S. Jojo from West Palm Beach, T.S. Tina in Fort Lauderdale, and T.S. Rochelle. On January 22, 2011, the Federal Communications Commission announced it would levy fines of $10,000 per offense and up to $1 million for any single spoofing violation reported through GoErie.com. Laws may vary state by state. However, in most states like Florida, it is considered a felony if convicted. Extortion is an entirely separate crime, which applies in these reports.
Anyone who feels they've been spoofed should register a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, report the crime, and immediately call the local enforcement. Yes. Contact their cell phone carrier immediately to report the abuse and keep records of the incoming calls. And please contact the author of this column as to go on record for this ongoing case. So this is, I can't imagine. And actually, the individual who wrote the article, Victoria Michaels, we were supposed to have a conversation that night, and she texted me saying that she was just getting these calls time and time again, so she was part of
She was
this
a victim
whole,
as
victim
well.
of as well. And I just can't imagine someone calling every 30 seconds and your phone just keep ringing and ringing and ringing.
Consistently for a week.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad that the things people do for money and how it's another form of hate targeting the transgender.
Well, it's a major form of extortion because a lot of trans people, you know, they may not be out and they feel they can use that against them. And, you know, I think that's wrong. And they know other avenues of the trans. So they're obviously in the community somewhere and they're doing this.
Yeah, and it's
so
probably
it's something that needs to be stopped.
Somebody who got upset with a TS girl and decided to start taking revenge, and they know a lot of the girls are sex workers and they rely on their phone for their clients.
Exactly.
So it's that's pretty bad. I mean,
so we'll extort them for cash.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
Totally crazy.
But,
well, anyway, we wanted to share that story, and
yes,
you know, just if you guys feel or anyone that you know is going through that, please report it to the authorities, and you know, just
we definitely don't want any other girls out there to be victims or fall victim to this scam. So
yeah, well, we totally enjoyed the interview today.
Yes, we
Ryan
did.
Cassata is amazing, and we always
he is. He's absolutely amazing.
Love
He's
to have
a very
him on the
big
show.
inspiration.
Very, and it's just as young, and the way he speaks. I mean, even on that video, "Hands of Hate," and how just you could sense that passion, that power, that light that comes.
Exactly.
And to be able to put it down on paper and play an instrument, and his beautiful instrument, his voice.
He's gonna be an inspiration to not only trans people now today, but also the future generations to come. So.
And shame on you trans guys who have been picking on Ryan and making him feel that he is less of a trans man. I mean, he's got more heart than many other guys that I know, and you learn how to respect and not judge other people because you didn't like to be judged. So just a word of advice, you know, what you put out is what you're going to receive, and
exactly,
you know, karma is something major.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to wrap up by telling you guys how much we love you.
But remember to always love yourselves too.
And I'm ending with another one of my originals. It's called My Footsteps. And the quality of the video isn't that great because it was just, I did it acoustically, and I didn't have some great recording thing, but it's a nice song.
And thank you everyone for watching.
Yes.
Thank you again, Ryan.
Yes.
We really enjoyed the show, having you here.
And thank you, Joe, for the great work you do behind the scenes.
Yes, Joe, thank you.
love nobody.